Hi, good morning. Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. I'm here with Mark Overend from Ascentis Accountants. How you doing, Mark?
Hi, Mike. Yeah, good. Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us today. So, as always, if you could give us a little bit more background as to who you are, what it is you do exactly, how long the company's been going, that kind of thing, please, Mark.
Yeah, sure. I'm head of tax here at Ascentis. So my remit is to look after the tax affairs, corporate tax of limited companies that we look after, and personal tax affairs of the directors and shareholders of the owners of the businesses that we deal with. Ascentis Accountants, we were formed back in the year 2000. And we've grown over a number of years. I joined the practice back in 2011, and a third partner, Lee Kaznowski, joined us 6 or 7 years ago. So as a business, we've grown and expanded pretty much year on year as we've gone along.
Fantastic. So, what size is your team at the moment?
So we're a three-partner firm, and we've got about 20 staff um, working with us. That's split across, the tax team and the accounts team, and then the bookkeeping team as well. So we've kind of got three distinct departments that we break down into.
Brilliant. And what would you say is your kind of key to your growth over the last few years, since you've joined it, at least to get it up to that team and to continue to grow year on year?
The key to growing an accountancy business is we try to set ourselves apart from other accountancy firms. Accountancy is something that can be slightly difficult to sell, if you like, because whilst every business needs an accountant, if they've already got one, they're not really looking for two sets of accounts doing during a year or two audits. So
Yeah.
how are you different to my existing accountant is a question we often get asked and have to be able to answer.
Brilliant. And what would you say to that? Or is that a personal question according to what their accountant is providing them? Or what would your answer be?
No, well, I suppose we've our distinction that we make is we help business owners obtain what we call financial mastery.
Mhm.
So we do what many accountants do. We do your year-end statutory accounts for your company. We deal with your tax affairs and company tax returns and personal tax returns. But obtaining financial mastery for us is about business owners understanding how their business operates from a financial perspective. A lot of business owners we come across have got into business because they're good at what they do. They're good at sales, they're good at operations, but they've not really had any formal business training, if you like. And part of that, they've not necessarily had any great understanding given to them of how their business is performing from a financial perspective. So what we do, we leverage technology using cloud accounting systems to build effectively a mini ERP system within the business, so that small businesses that we deal with, and by smaller, we tend to operate in the sort of area of businesses turnover between 1 and 10 million pounds. In that sphere, the internal finance team are usually doing what we would term compliance work. So they're entering data into systems, filing VAT returns, and then providing the information to the accountant for the year-end data to be dealt with.
Yeah.
What we want to do is leverage off all that information and bring in up-to-date financial reporting so that a business owner gets their financial data on a weekly or monthly basis.
Brilliant.
So when they're making decisions in their business, they can actually rely on up-to-date financial data to do that and then
Yeah.
start to get a better understanding of their business.
You sound like, as a business coaching company, from Action Coach's perspective, the ideal accountant for what we look to help business owners with. Having that data to hand where you're looking back and you're looking forwards, and you've got up to date information at any point in which you want to access it. Which, as you say, quite a lot of business owners don't necessarily have or didn't realize that was what can enhance performance. It's all about the numbers at the end of the day.
Absolutely, yes. And they have so much information at their fingertips, they just don't realize the
Mhm.
power of it and how to harness it. And yeah, once we start to get into it, the business owners that we work with usually suddenly become very interested in the financial data that they have available to them, and they start looking at, key performance indicators and wanting to set them and measure them and look at how they can report on them. And in our financial reporting systems that we can help build, we can do that. We can report on those and really start to get into the nitty-gritty of the financial data that's available and
Yeah.
look at, overturning perhaps some myths in businesses where a business owner might say, "Oh, this aspect of my business is where I make all my money," and actually, it's not. It's hidden somewhere else that they just didn't realize.
Sure, that's it. A lot calling out, I suppose, emotion versus logic, or just what you think is happening versus, well, have you actually seen the data to prove what you think is the right thing? Again, another sort of advocate for that here at Action Coach. And you have, I've seen on the website, you do like a quarterly business strategic planning session for your clients as well, which again, at Action Coach, there's a lot of similarities in that we do a growth club for helping business owners to plan strategically, which I don't see many accountants kind of offering that opportunity either.
Yeah, so one of the things we look to help business owners with is achieve what we've termed their personal vision of success. Why did you get into business? What are you trying to get out of it?
Mhm,
Many business owners they become very busy and ingrained working in their business rather than working on their business.
mhm,
As accountants, we're not business coaches. We can't deliver strategic planning directly to our clients, but we often want and encourage them to reach out and get coaching from people like Action Coach to help them develop their businesses. And it's kind of by way of an introduction to that, yeah, we've developed the Ascentis Business Club. It meets once a quarter, and the idea is just to drag business owners away from their business, away from the phone ringing and the
yeah,
team asking them questions, and say, look, what are you trying to achieve? How can we help you do that? And spend half a day with us as your accountants in a room with 20, 25 of our other clients looking at your business, what you need to do to develop it, and then if they think that actually they need some more formal help, that's when we reach out to people like you guys and say, we've got a business owner here who needs some formal coaching. But yeah, the idea of the 90 the sorry the Ascentis Business Club is yeah, just to try and help people work on the business and try and take away that excuse of I'm just too busy at the moment, because I'm just
yeah.
too busy at the moment seems to recur year on year.
Yeah, yeah. So, something that yeah we definitely concur with here that we hear a lot, but it's getting people to business owners to realize it's the most important thing to be doing is working on your business, and being too busy for that can have detrimental effects down the line. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
um, that's a great reflection. And how did you get to that point then? I suppose what's the journey been like for you guys? Have you always been kind of this forward thinking in terms of helping the clients, or is it something you've developed over time? What's the business journey been like for you?
Yeah, it's definitely developed and evolved over time. My business partner John Oddy, he's always been fanatical about helping business owners develop their businesses,
Mhm.
and Ascentis as a firm not just being a firm of traditional accountants, but always trying to set ourselves apart and help business owners grow and develop their businesses. I think, kind of at Ascentis, our why, if you like, why do we do this? Is because we do take great pleasure and joy in watching business owners progress and develop with their businesses in the way that they want to progress and develop. That's not always necessarily through growing into a huge organization. It might just be helping people get some more time back to spend with their families. But we want to help people achieve what they want to achieve from owning their businesses. So we've started off as trained accountants and trained tax advisors, but clients always seem to come to us with these questions that don't sit in accountancy and tax advice. How do I do this with my business?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and so we've sought to try and be able to put ourselves in a position to be able to answer those questions and help people. That fundamentally we want to be able to help people. So
yeah,
developing the Ascentis Business Club just seemed like a way of really scaling advice. Bring people together in a room. You can provide the same advice to 20 people all at the same time rather than trying to do it 20 times.
yeah. Phone calls and repeating emails and yeah,
Exactly, yeah, and benefits as well. I think the opportunity to network with other
yeah,
business owners is invaluable. A lot of our clients, there's either one or two business owners, and they can become a little bit isolated in their work. Sometimes it's great to get out of the business, come and talk to people, come and talk to other business owners. So yeah, just over years of kind of trial and error, I guess we've developed things to try and help our business owner clients come together
yeah.
in that way.
And what has a census's business, if I get the wording right, a census's business journey been like over the years? Because there's a lot of things happen, especially in the last 5 to 6, well, in the last 5 to 10 years, really, from sort of Brexit, I suppose, to this point.
Yeah.
What has that been like for you guys? Because again, there's the client's journeys, but then there's your journey. How would you reflect on that? Has it been all sweetness and light, steady, steady growth, or what's the kind of under the bonnet reflection?
Oh yeah, if only it was just steady growth. That would be wonderful.
That straight line.
Yeah, that straight line that we
Yeah,
all
the
aspire
American
to but
dream.
never exists.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, there's obviously been, many challenges over the years. Growth doesn't come in easy to any business, so challenges come to us from economic cycles. When there's a recession, businesses are put under pressure and can end up failing, which, nobody likes to see a business failure. And obviously the biggest impact is on the owners for that business. So I don't want to sound too selfish, but for us as well, the impact is a loss of clients as that
yeah,
happens,
yeah.
loss of fees, recurring income. And
Mhm.
so sometimes we find ourselves in a period where we're not growing, we're just stagnant because we bring new fees in, but they disappear out of the
Mhm.
back through no real fault of our own or anybody else,
Yeah,
which is, difficult to deal with sometimes. Um, Challenges around the team as well. I think COVID presented the biggest challenge to us around the conversation around working from home versus working in the office.
yeah, yeah,
So we, prior to COVID, were already a cloud-based business with systems that allowed our team to work on a flexible basis. So we already had hybrid working, working from home and working in the office. And our policy was working 2 days at home, 3 days in the office, relatively flexible. We didn't dictate which days you're in the office and which days you're at home. We gave people autonomy over that. COVID obviously meant that everybody suddenly worked 100% from home, which systems wise we were fine with. It didn't really cause any impact to us. But I think post COVID, there's been the feedback from the team is that they're quite reluctant to spend as much time in the office. And that has presented challenges in terms of, the dynamic of how the team work with each other
yeah, yeah,
and I guess the office has become it's become very quiet because
yeah,
most people are working from home versus most people in the office. And so we've tried to encourage people to come back to work in the office just to create the get the morale and the office environment back to, being a bit more conversational around what's going on and
yeah,
who's doing what. And, just that office culture we felt has declined
yeah,
since, post COVID in that environment where people are predominantly working from home. And I think just trying to recreate the team spirit and the cohesive working together has been quite a challenge for us, actually.
And what would you say is the biggest lesson so far out the back of those challenges for you as a business and then say personally as well?
I think the lesson is, retrospectively looking back, we had it right pre-COVID, in that the
Yeah,
balance is
yeah,
about 2 days at home, 3 days in the office, and
yeah.
that we thought that, pretty much being full time, maybe just coming in one day a week would
Mhm.
work, and it didn't.
Mhm.
Um, Really, really, whilst you can do the lesson is you can do your job
Yeah,
effectively working from home, but for a business like ours, to be to go kind of the next to really do it well, you can't do it by yourself. If you're doing something that you can do completely isolated, it works. But
yeah,
for us, it just, the experiment with working from home and hybrid working it doesn't, you've got to have some of it. You've got to allow people some flexibility,
yeah, yeah,
but you do need that structure where people are in the office more than they're at home, because otherwise
yeah.
it just destroys your team culture, it seems to us.
Yeah, yeah, that's a really valid point, and I'm sure a lot of business owners will feel the same thing as well. That option of flexibility has gone really, really kind of one way because of COVID, and to get it back is a bit of a challenge. But you do need that culture in order to, as you say, have the power of more minds, I guess, in one space to grow a business.
Yeah, and it's just that opportunity to understand what's going on. For us, the businesses that we look after, they're changing all the time. They're always looking to do new things. Things are happening. People are looking to buy things, sell things,
Yeah,
change things. and unless we're all in the office together, conveying that message would just become an endless stream of emails. When email is so prevalent these days, you feel like you get an endless stream of emails anyway.
Yeah,
They just get lost in the noise. I think the conversations that go on in the office about what's happening with other businesses and what's happening with our
yeah,
business, I think being present in the office, it's just so much easier to convey that and to feel back part of everything that's going on. I think
yeah, yeah. It's
binds you
that
back together.
kind of maybe a hybrid between the artificial intelligence or electronic intelligence and the human intelligence, which is kind of the challenge of the balance of everything at the moment, rather than going one way too far too quick.
Yeah, it just it felt to us like the pendulum had just swung a bit too far in terms of let's all just work in little hybrid pods where
Yeah,
and we can communicate. There's lots of electronic means of communication, but
yeah,
just don't think they work as well as face to face for certain
yeah.
things.
Definitely hear that. So, in terms of your inspiration to do what you do, to kind of reflect on, what gets you out of bed of a morning to keep going and doing what you've been doing since 2011 and want to grow the business, what's the inspiration for you, Mark?
It just comes back to what I said before, about helping business owners, helping them develop their businesses. We come across so many business owners who've been on a journey to date and they've just kind of got stuck somewhere.
Yeah,
They've taken a business as far as they can with their skills and the people that they've got around them, and they just want some help to go further, to go to the next level. And it's providing that help and assistance in whatever form it takes. That's what motivates me. That's what keeps me going. That's what I enjoy the most.
fantastic. Good share. And in terms of any sort of latest news about what you're up to sort of coming up this year with the company, or even if it's a case of sharing your website so more business owners can get in touch if they're interested to find out about what you do and yeah, get in contact with you further, feel free to do that now.
So I suppose, yeah, our question that we always ask business owners is what is your accountant currently doing to help you develop your internal business systems? And if the answer is nothing, then you would like to talk to somebody about that, then we are the place to come for that advice. We can provide that advice and hopefully generate a lot of automation and time saving into your business and help you get what I talked about earlier in terms of financial mastery and a better understanding of your numbers and figures in your business to help you take it forwards to the next level.
Brilliant. We will put a link to your website at the bottom of the blurb that we put on, so people can click on that and have a look. Really appreciate all that you've shared, Mark. There's a lot of valuable insights in there from you guys running your business. So looking forward to sharing it out. Thanks very much for sharing all that you have, and I wish you all the best for the future success of the business, Mark.
That's great. Thanks, Mike. It's been great talking to you today.